Palmyra palm sugar is derived from the Palmyra palm tree and is considered a healthier form of sweetener than many others. Just 41 on the glycemic index, with only 1/10 ounce of fructose per 3.5 ounces, it's also one of the few plant-based sources of vitamin B12. Palmyra palm sugar doesn't come out of the Palmyra palm tree looking like this. From harvesting to processing, there are many steps between the tree and the ultimate product. The tree produces the round fruit seen on the right and the cylindrical flower cluster on the left. A palm sugar harvester prepares specialized containers for harvesting the sap by threading twine through a hole near the rim. These tubes are made from bamboo, and in Thailand they're called krabak maipai. The harvester adds wood chips to the tubes. The wood chips come from the sharia tree, which is called payam in Thailand. The chips will help prevent the sap from fermenting. Some Palmyra trees are more than 100 years old. Here, the harvester climbs a ladder that reaches up around 66 feet. At the top of the tree, the harvester uses a machete to cut the tip off the Palmyra flowers. Safely on the ground, he demonstrates what he does up in the tree. He starts by binding together two of the cylindrical flowers and then carefully trimming off their tips. Where they've been cut, the flowers exude drops of sap, which will collect in the bamboo tubes. Up in the tree, the harvester secures the tubes in place. Having swapped empty tubes for full ones, he brings the sap he's collected to an outdoor stove. The harvester prepares a basket covered with several layers of gauze to filter the liquid. He then slowly and carefully pours the sap through the filters into the wok below. The harvesting stage is complete. Production now begins. The filtered sap now boils away in the wok for approximately 45 minutes as it thickens into a sugar. The worker takes advantage of the hot oven fire to sterilize his bamboo tubes. He turns them upside down one by one over small holes in the oven. The worker must harvest twice a day. If he doesn't, the cuts will heal over too much and he'll be forced to wait for a specific period of time before making additional cuts in order to prevent damage to the tree. The boiling process thickens the sap, and the worker must stir it frequently to keep it from sticking. After roughly 30 minutes, the sap begins to turn white. The tubes are now thoroughly sterilized, and the worker can remove them and let them cool. The bubbling sap has now been reduced to a thick substance. The worker removes the pan from the heat source. It's ready for the next phase on its path to becoming sugar. Although it's often referred to as palm sugar, it's also known as jaggery. The worker now uses a custom-made whisking tool to thoroughly mix the jaggery. Shaped like a large spring, the whisk helps cool the sugar while mixing it. He continues mixing the jaggery until it thickens and cools to a paste-like consistency. At this point, the jaggery is too thick for the whisk, so the worker continues mixing it with a simple stick. Finally, the sugar cools and dries to a thick, flaky texture, ready to be packaged and shipped around the world. It has taken nearly a gallon of Palmyra palm sap to create roughly 2¼ pounds of this highly nutritious alternative sweetener.